Welcome to Cocktails and Closings, where real estate meets real conversation. I'm your host, Eric, blending my world of real estate and mobile bartending to bring you the perfect mix of lifestyle, business, and a little bit of luxury. Whether we're pouring up drinks or closing deals, we're all about elevating the experience. Let's get into it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Cocktails and Closings. I'm Eric with Premier Bartending and Boulevard Real Estate. I want to welcome you guys to my new series that I've been working on for so long, and I've finally been able to get it off the ground and up and running. So I want to share this with you guys. I want to thank Simply Divine for allowing us to use the space. If you don't follow her yet, please go follow her. She does really great work. She has a creative space here in Atwater. She hosts different paint and sips, different events for kids, different workshops, women's empowerment workshops, all that stuff. So if you haven't followed her, please make sure that you follow her. I'll make sure to tag her in this video so that you guys can go follow her. I also want to shout out Ortiz Productions, the man behind the camera, for making me look good. You always do great work. I appreciate you coming out. I also want to thank Tone and the Barber Doll. If you guys don't know, the Barber Doll is my sister Angela. She's also a realtor. I want to thank her for always allowing me to be myself and to look good behind the camera. And she's my biggest cheerleader, and I appreciate that. So today we're going to get into it. Today we're making a classic tequila cocktail, one of my favorite drinks. It's the one drink that whenever we host an event and it's on the menu, it always goes quick. We're doing the classic Paloma today. The Paloma, much like real estate, there's always different variations. Things can be different every time you make it. Most people will say it's got to be made with grapefruit juice. Some people will say it can be made with grapefruit soda. Either way, it's a great cocktail. It's one of my favorite cocktails. Like I said, whenever we bartend an event, we always have people talk about how good the Paloma is. So today we're going to be making a Paloma. We're going to be talking about the podcast. As most of you know, this is my first episode. So today we're going to just keep it kind of light. I just want to kind of give everybody an insight to what I do and bringing my two worlds together, my bartending and real estate. So I want to make sure that we blend the two. And we're going to just, like I said, we're going to be making a cocktail, making a drink. Today we're going to just be talking a little bit about the format of the podcast, okay? So we're not going to get into too much real estate stuff today, but I just want to give you guys kind of a look into what we're going to be doing each week, okay? So right now I'm going to be mixing up a Paloma. I'll kind of tell you guys the ingredients as we go along in case you guys decide you want to make it at home. It's a very good drink. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna put ice in our shaker. Tequila, you always got to go with the good tequila. You can go with different ones. There's Blanco tequila, there's Reposado tequila, there's Añejo tequila. There's all these different type of tequilas, but with Premier Bartending, we prefer to use a Reposado tequila. It's just a lot smoother. It gives it a cleaner taste. It's not as harsh, not as strong. So we like to use a Reposado tequila, but you can use whatever you like, whatever works for you. But we're going to be using Reposado tequila today. We're going to use 2 ounces of that. Lime juice. Every bartender will tell you fresh lime juice is always the way to go. So we're going to do an ounce of fresh lime juice, and then we're going to give it a little squirt of some agave syrup just to get the taste rolling in it. Sweeten it up a little bit. We're going to put that in our shaker, and we're going to shake it up. So you shake that just till your tin gets cold. Then we're going to always have to garnish the glass. So we're going to be doing some chamoy and tajin on the rim, which to me makes the drink, it gives it a bolder flavor, kind of balances out the sweetness with some of that spice from the tajin. So we're going to get some tajin on our rim, just like so. Okay. We're going to put some ice in our glass. Okay. And we're going to strain this into our cup. And then we're just going to top it with some squirt. And like I said, there's so many different variations of this drink. Some people, like I said, will make it with grapefruit juice. Some people will make it with just soda water, but I prefer with the grapefruit juice, or the grapefruit soda. It just gives it a better taste. So, and then we're gonna garnish that with a grapefruit wedge, and that's it. That's the Paloma, guys. So, like I said, one of my favorite drinks. It's got a ton of flavor if you make it right. It's got a ton of flavor. It's got a really good profile. It's sweet. It's got a little bit of kick to it. It's got some heat. So, definitely one of my favorite drinks. So, if you haven't made one, if you want to try one, hit me up. I can give you the recipe. I can give you the recipe that we use at Premier Bartending. But there's also a ton of recipes online. So definitely try it if you haven't tried it yet. If you're a tequila lover like I am, please try it. Okay. So now that we've got our cocktail made, we're just going to get into it, guys. So a couple years ago, I started my journey with real estate. So I'm now in year 3 of real estate, and it's been fun. It's been a ride. There's been some ups and some downs, and but I've had fun. I've met a lot of great people. Everybody's been super welcoming in the real estate community here in Merced. So, I'm happy that it's a field that I got into. If anybody, if you know me, you know that my background comes from property management. I've been doing that for 16 years, and I love that. So getting into real estate just seemed like the right segue for me, my next step. So getting into real estate, it was something that I decided to do. My dad is also a realtor here in Merced. Like I said, so was my sister Angela. So it seemed like the right fit. So getting into real estate, like I said, we're in year 3 right now, and like I said, it's been a blessing. It's been fun. I've had a good run. So getting into real estate, I wanted to be able to help people, and being able to help people and seeing people go through that transition of, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to buy a house. Like, I don't know if that's something that I'm ever going to be able to do. I don't know if I have enough money, and being able to work with them through the process and having them get to the end result, and handing them the keys is the best feeling in the world. You almost kind of get to help someone's dreams come true. So it's been great. It's been fun. I love it. I love what I do. I love the clients that I meet, but I also love the fellow realtors that I work with. So, when I got into real estate, I didn't intend on having all of these other side businesses, but everybody that knows me knows that I've been super busy the last couple of years. I've started so many different side businesses. One of them is Premier Mobile Bartending, the business that I started with my wife, to my wife Amanda. So we started that business probably about a year ago, and it's been great. We've been busy, we've been booked, we've had events going on. Left and right. We've got one next weekend. So we've been busy, we've been blessed. So it definitely wasn't something that I intended on starting, but it was definitely something that I saw a need for. There are so many people that have there's so many different people that have events, weddings and birthday parties and corporate events and all of this. So it was just, I saw kind of a need for it. Every event that we would go to, it was like everybody was just kind of making their own drinks at a table. So with Premier Mobile Bartending, we take that stress off of you and your guests. So we get behind the bar. We mix up cocktails like the Paloma that you see here. We get to mix up those drinks for people and kind of elevate their experience, so that you don't have to have guests stuck behind the bar. Or you don't have to have, people bringing their own bottles of tequila. We handle all of that for you. So if you have an event coming up that you may need us for, we have different packages. If we don't have a package that fits what you need, we can definitely work something out. But it's definitely a good experience. It takes the stress away from you and your guests, and you get to enjoy your party. So oddly enough, the reason I kind of thought of starting a mobile bartending business is because I went to a party and that kind of happened to me. So I went behind the bar to make a drink for myself and for my wife. And while I was behind the bar making the drink, I had people coming up and they were like, "Oh, can I get a vodka cranberry? Can I get this?" And I had to tell them, like, I'm not the bartender. I came back here to make a drink for myself. But I figured if I'm back here, why not? So I kind of, I was behind the bar and I started making drinks for people, and people were enjoying them, and people kept coming up and they were talking about how good the drink was and this and that. So, that was kind of what spurred my interest into starting the mobile bartending business, because I saw that party that we went to and how, people were just having to get behind the bar and make drinks for themselves, or they weren't sure where the alcohol was even located. So, that was really what kind of started the wheels turning on the mobile bartending business. So that's how I got into mobile bartending business. Also, if you don't know, I also DJ as well. So, I DJ weddings, different events. I've done different events for Simply Divine. She did a Valentine's Day paint and sip at the Tarmac, and I got to DJ that. I bartended for her women's empowerment workshop that she did here in the studio. But I do tons of different events. I have a wedding coming up, in a couple weeks. So I'm super busy, and like I said, getting into real estate was never it was never the plan to have all these side businesses, but it's worked, and it's helped me build relationships, not just with clients, but also with fellow realtors, and getting to do events for them, and, bartending birthday parties for them, and DJing their baby showers and things like that. So it's been great, to be able to take all of those businesses and kind of intertwine them with each other, so like I said, doing real estate, I I love what I do. It's been great, but I definitely want to blend my two worlds, bartending and real estate, and getting to share that with you guys. So the way the podcast is going to work, we're going to do an episode maybe every other week or so. Some weeks it'll just be me behind the camera or in front of the camera. Some weeks I'll have guests. And we'll just talk about different real estate topics. Everyone is not necessarily going to be involved in real estate, but I definitely want to use this platform to help showcase, of course, my business and what I'm doing, but I also want to help others be able to promote and showcase their businesses as well. So some weeks it'll be people that are involved in real estate. Some weeks it'll be someone that's not involved in real estate. And like I said, some weeks I'll have a guest and some weeks I won't. But I want to make sure that I'm using my platform and and my audience to help others grow as well. Getting into real estate, I've always heard the saying from a fellow realtor of mine, there's enough to go around for everybody, So I definitely want to make sure that we are finding a way to help others, whether you're a realtor, a lender, a home inspector, you work insurance, whatever your industry is. I want to make sure that I'm helping those people reach the audience that they want to reach. So this is definitely, like I said, this has been a baby of mine for a long time. It's definitely something that I have been thinking about and working on and trying to put together and trying to get off the ground. And it's been somewhat difficult just trying to figure out how to get everything, together and worked out. And I want to thank my team, the people that you guys don't get to see, but definitely like Ortiz Productions. I want to thank my sister Angela. I want to thank my wife for being home with the baby so that I can get out to do this. Everybody that's motivated me, everybody that's pushed me to do this, because it's definitely something that I think is needed in the community. The real estate community in Merced can be small. So I definitely want to take this platform and this opportunity to help others showcase their abilities and their talents and what they have going on. So, like I said, some weeks it'll just be me. Some weeks I'll have a guest. So I'll be reaching out to people. If you want to be a guest, reach out to me. We can set something up. I have a couple guests lined up already, but definitely looking to fill out the schedule. So, it's been fun, guys. Like I said, this is the first episode. I really just wanted to get in front of the camera, excuse me. I really wanted to get in front of the camera and really just kind of tell everybody what the podcast is going to be like, the format, how things are going to go. Obviously, I wanted to mix up one of my favorite drinks. So, that's really what I wanted to do today. So, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody for listening to what I have to say, because you could be doing anything else. But I want to thank everybody for just being a part. If you've come in contact with me, you're a part of my life, and I appreciate you. I appreciate the motivation, whether it was good or it was bad. I appreciate you. So I definitely want to thank everybody, and for tuning into this episode, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm gonna go enjoy my Paloma. So you guys have a good day. Hey everybody, I just wanted to mention this as well. The Merced YPN, which I'm also a part of, is putting on its annual fundraiser golf tournament. It will be next Saturday at Rancho Del Rey Golf Course here in Atwater, California. It starts at 6 a.m. If you need details, be sure to reach out to me, and I'll tag the others as well. You can reach out to them if you want more details. Thanks.